All right, everybody, welcome back to Clicks and Bricks. My name is Ken. Brian's is just now sitting down. Today's episode is about social media presence and marketing.
Yeah, using social media for your business.
Episode 18. Episode 18. So today I think we're going to talk about different tactics and strategies. And we've got some questions from the members.
Yeah, we have a bunch of questions. So we're going to have some fun here today about social media marketing for your business. Some do's, don'ts, tips, and tricks. And we're just going to dive into it.
Awesome. But before we get started, if you want to text me and join my text community, 314-370-2871 is my community text line. I'll drop tips and tricks in there. And if you want to ask a question for the show, you can also text it there as well. Although I'd rather you send an email to clicksandbricks@hostirian.com.
Yes, that works. And then for my text line, 314-216-2040. If you have questions about topics or just a question you want to ask, that about a previous episode, text me. Let me know. And we will answer it and we will shout you out on the show as well. Okay? And if you're watching this live on Twitch or any one of our 8 platforms that we're going to post this at when it comes out next week, make sure you rate us with 5 stars and leave a comment, review, and tell us how greatly you appreciated the information that we gave you.
Yes. And a couple little update here. We've changed up some staff here. We've grown our team a little bit. Mm-hmm. Nick is our new producer, and he's changing some things up. This week we had some problems with editing, so our podcast isn't up on our podcast platforms. The audio version only hasn't been posted yet from last week. It's going up tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. But after that, this episode is going to start going live. We're going to start publishing the podcast on Spotify, iTunes, wherever you listen to your podcast at. Mm-hmm. We're going to start publishing that on Friday mornings after the Tuesday when we record. So we'll go live on Tuesdays and we'll publish the audio versions on Friday mornings, and then the following Wednesday morning the YouTube
stuff will come out.
The video will come out. So the edited video will be produced and put out on YouTube the following Wednesday. Not the next Wednesday, the one after. So just a couple of updates on scheduling and how to catch us and when to catch us. But live every Tuesday at 5. The audio version will be released that Friday for the audio only, and then the video will be published on YouTube the following Wednesday.
There you go. Perfectly. Yes. Perfectly said. All right. So before we get into our topic today, let's go ahead and do our Between the Cubicles.
Awesome. What does Nick have us for today?
So Nick says, today, we're talking about the St. Louis Cardinals announced they will allow fans at the games this season. They will be allowing 32% stadium capacity, which means that 15,000 fans will be able to come to games. Awesome. Did the ticket price go up? I don't know if the ticket prices went up. He has a link here for me as well. Let me go ahead and pop that guy up.
Okay.
I'm excited. I mean, I think I like watching the Cardinals and I like supporting the Cardinals because I like supporting St. Louis. But I'm more excited the fact that now fans can get back into the games because it's so much more. It's a completely different experience going to the game than watching it on TV or watching it in a bar someplace.
Yep.
It's a whole experience, and that's what I want. I want the memories from the experience that we're going to go from taking my boys to the game or going with my friends and family and that kind of stuff.
Right. So I'm not a huge sports fan in general. I love boxing. I love combat sports. I do enjoy going to the games. I don't really go to large events like that very often.
Why is that?
I might sound like a lunatic here. They won't let me bring my gun into the stadium. So I don't like being without my sidearm. And, we live in St. Louis. It's a very, very safe town by my standards. I love St. Louis. I've been here, my whole life. I think it's a great place to live, probably a pretty bad place to visit. But I carry my gun almost everywhere I go, and I'm not allowed to do that at the stadium, and I just don't care for that.
I mean, that's any sports venue, really.
Any sports venue. So I don't go very frequently to sports venues or large events where I had to go through metal detectors and things like that. Unless I think we went last year to a Cardinals game on a Saturday afternoon or something like that.
We did.
Yeah.
We did.
So, and then, me and my wife, we have lock boxes in our trucks so that we can lock our stuff up and still make sure that, we're keeping the community safe because It's also a problem of people breaking into cars and stealing guns at those
I've had a
those
firearm
venues.
stolen. I had a firearm stolen from me, and it was.
Yeah.
I felt so bad, man. Like, I felt bad just for the fact that I'm like, I know someone's gonna die from that.
Or they might. I mean, you don't know that, right? But it
I don't know
definitely-
for a fact.
I mean, if you're the kind of person that's going to steal a firearm,
You're probably gonna do bad stuff with it, man.
yeah. But then again, dumb kids do dumb things, and it could just be an innocent thing, and they plan on just going out in the creek and shooting some bottles. Probably not. So
That's what I told myself to get over it.
so that's why I don't like going to the games as a whole. But I do. I mean, being around a whole bunch of people drinking beer and eating hot dogs. Hard to beat, especially on a nice day, 80, 90 degrees outside with a nice breeze blowing.
Yes.
With the right people.
But Cardinal fans are fun, man. I mean,
yeah.
One of my best memories.
Oh, and I don't like our new stadium. I grew up in Busch Stadium.
Oh my God, the new stadium is so much better than the old one.
I hate our new stadium. I love Busch Stadium. I grew up in Busch Stadium.
It's still Busch Stadium.
No, it's not. It's
Busch
some
Stadium
bastardized
2.0.
version. Like, it sucks. I hate it.
Bastardized version.
I don't like the new stadium.
What? Is it because it's new? It's not what you grew up with?
Well, because they tore down my history, right? I loved it when I was a kid. I loved going to Busch Stadium as a kid. Saw Billy Joel and Elton John there, right? A huge memory of mine. I don't see that stadium anymore.
That's pretty cool.
I learned a lot. My brother graduated on the field at the old Busch Stadium.
That's cool.
So I just had a lot of memories there, and they tore it down, and they built this new kind of open air kind of thing, and I kind of like that Coliseum look of the old Busch Stadium.
It was different because there was no other stadium like that.
Right.
No other stadium.
And it was, it was mammoth in St. Louis.
Yeah.
It was a giant structure.
Right.
And they lowered it drastically.
Yes.
It's not as much capacity.
I didn't know that.
I think we lost 10 to 20,000 seats.
Did not know that.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I think the new stadium is about 50,000. And I think for concerts, I think we were 80,000 because you can do floor seating too.
Gotcha.
But, yeah.
See, I thought they lowered it because they went higher with it. So to make sure they can still get enough seating, because like now, I don't feel like any spot there is bad. Every spot.
No, there's not any horrible seats, right?
And that's awesome.
Yeah, it is.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And there's a lot of great things about the new Busch Stadium. It's just not. It's not my forte.
It's not your jam.
No.
Simply not your jam. I love the new stadium personally. Obviously, I thought the old stadium, which is cool, just because I have a lot of memories. I remember my first baseball game. Remember my son's first baseball game in that stadium. All that kind of good stuff. I definitely like the look and the feel of this one. I like how when you're driving past the highway, it's really cool to like the look into it. It's a good look for St. Louis.
It is. It's nice and fancy, but like I remember, and this is we're gonna tell stories about Busch Stadium forever. We could. When I was a kid, we would go. And there was a couple months of the year that there was baseball and football playing at the same time.
Right.
And this was, late 70s, early 80s. We had the baseball Cardinals and we had the football Cardinals.
Right.
And they both played at Busch Stadium. And at some parts of the season, you would have the football field and the baseball field drawn out at the same time.
That's awesome.
And you could literally go to the morning and watch a football game and stay that night and then see a baseball game.
Man, see,
and you can't do that now.
So many reasons why I'm so mad that I was not alive at that time frame. Because I think that would have been cool, man.
It was so cool, right? You could bring your own coolers in. It was totally different.
I do remember bringing my own coolers in too.
It was a totally different world, right? Now, I guess the benefit is that you're not smoking in there anymore. But
I'm okay. I mean, if it's open air, I'm okay with letting that slide. To me.
But they don't.
They don't.
They don't let it slide. There's no smoking in there, but there was when I was a kid.
I remember. I forgot about bringing coolers in the.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, it was really cool.
It was.
But it is what it is. We accept change. We move on. I'm not a huge sports fan, so when I go, it's more to hang out with the people that I'm hanging out with.
There you go.
And have a good time and have a party, and I can do that anywhere.
I don't need much to party.
Right.
I really don't. And that's kind of why I go to the games too. It's just to have. I want to go for the memory.
I have a much better time going to the local fights.
Interesting.
Than I do going to the baseball games.
Well, you're also like a celebrity there too. I mean, you're a local celebrity, dude. I mean,
well, okay.
Golden Gloves, like on the gym. Like
So,
people know you in St. Louis for fighting. So you got a big.
It's a big family. It's a big
absolutely.
Reach, so yeah, it's a lot of. I have a lot of fun there, and that's my sporting event of choice. And here in St. Louis, I get to do 1 or 2 of them a month, just about, right?
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Good for you, man.
And there's no, there's no seasons. So.
You get fighters together, you're gonna fight.
Yeah.
You're gonna fight.
Awesome. Well, that was a good 10 minutes.
It really was.
Yeah,
I can't wait to go to a
We
Cards
went off
game.
topic. I think the big point here is that in St. Louis,
They're opening
sporting
up.
events are opening back up.
Yes.
Does that play with concerts as well?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. I did talk to a guy a couple weeks ago and said that he's been given permission to have live concerts if they're outside.
Oh, so our Riverport, what is Riverport now? Is it Verizon?
I think it's Verizon Amphitheater.
Is it the Verizon Amphitheater now? I know
So-
they changed their name quite a bit.
So I'm not sure if that.
Oh, no, it's Hollywood.
There is a Hollywood, but I think
It's
that.
Hollywood Casino Amphitheater now.
Oh, okay, okay.
I think Hollywood Casino opened. They bought out Harrah's there, and they changed it to
Got it. I didn't know that.
Hollywood Amphitheater. I think.
So there's a possibility that maybe someone like the local bars that have live music may start opening back up again. Maybe they'll start doing like a major concert like at the Hollywood Theater now. So
I was talking with a guy that I hired an audio guy to do some work for us, and he's like, "Man, there's just no work right now. There's just absolutely no work for audio guys because there's no
everybody shut down.
There's no live events happening.
Right.
So that's tough.
So look forward to a lot of the fun stuff. Hopefully this is going to be a trend, and we can start opening up our
with the
world a bit
vaccines
more.
rolling out, I'm 100% confident that we'll be back to whatever our new normal is going to be.
I was waiting to see what you were going to
I don't think we're ever going back to 2019. I don't think that we'll never see that kind of
that's sad.
world again.
That is sad. Can't even hug people anymore, dude.
Yeah, like elbows. What the hell? Like,
Everything's a fist bump. Everything's a fist bump now.
yeah, I'm a hugger.
I'm a hugger too.
I'm a hugger all day long, man.
All day.
And if I have to give up hugs or die, I think I'm okay with dying. I'm not giving up my hugs.
I'm not either, man. I remember the day I told my mom I hug all the girls in my life but you. You're gonna give me a hug. Yeah. And I start taking hugs from my mom. And she hated it, and now she expects it.
I cannot see my mother without giving her a hug. Not possible.
Right, exactly. So I'm with you. I'm with you there. So all right, guys, let's go ahead and dive into it today. Our topic again is we're talking about social media and social media for your business. What are you going to do with it, right? So let's just dive right in, right? Katie asks, what are the biggest disadvantages and disadvantages to using social media for your business?
Oh, biggest advantages and disadvantages.
She went in.
So I would say the biggest advantage is your buyers are there.
Period.
I think the biggest disadvantage is so is everybody else. But that's okay, right? Learning to target your story or your message to people who your buyers are is an important task that you need to learn as a business owner or a salesperson, right?
Exactly.
How to break through the note. Actually, I would say that the biggest disadvantage of social media is that there's so much there. Not just so it's not your buyers. There's just so much there and so much competition there.
It's saturated.
Yeah, and it's fast. You have to capture users' attention very, very quickly, or you're just going to go nowhere. The other thing that you can do is what we're doing here is that we're just being wildly consistent, and we're constantly putting out content. Hopefully that we're creating relationships over social media, right? So those are tactics, not necessarily advantages or disadvantages.
Right.
But those are ways to overcome these disadvantages. And I think most business owners will say that the disadvantage is that it's a lot of work and it's hard to see the return on investment.
Yes.
Right.
It's hard to say like what post did it.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
I would probably say the biggest advantage would be that this is a spot where you can just completely undress and be yourself in an interactive moment. Because like on your website you can, but it's like it's there, it's set and done. But on social media, you can really like become alive.
And that's hard for people. right? To become raw is very, very challenging.
But it opens the door for that to happen. I know it's hard. I know it's
Right.
challenging. I know there's a lot of things that are going through your mind before you start typing. Because
Yeah.
people get on Facebook and they put all kinds of stuff out there.
Savage, man, all day long. Savageness.
You know, but I like the idea of being able to share your voice. Share your voice, share why you are different. And I think Facebook is one of the, or not just Facebook, but social media is one of those places for a business to say this is why we sell shoes differently. This is why we make the best barbecue because we do it with love and passion and all this other kind of stuff.
You get to show under the sheets, right? And you get to
Exactly.
show what part of under the sheets you want to show.
Exactly. You get to
Right.
control it. You get
Yes.
to control it. And then on the flip side, just like you said, the disadvantage of it, everyone else is there.
Right.
Right? So the disadvantage of it to me would be that it doesn't take long for the wrong thing to go viral.
Well, it's probably easier for the wrong thing to go viral than it is the right things to
Yes.
go viral, right? Yeah, it's a crazy wild, wild west. The answers to the question of the biggest advantage is your buyers are there. If you think they're not, you're wrong. Your buyers are absolutely using social media in
Yes.
some way, shape, or form, and it is one of your wagons in your bandwagoning approach to get in front of your client, right? So if you have a social media profile, and I say just go all of them, as many as you can reasonably do that give you some kind of joy, right?
Yes.
Continue to push those out, because your customer might see you on Facebook and Instagram or Twitter, and they might see that billboard, and they might get an email from you, and they might get a cold call from you. And every might builds on, if they did see one, and they see the other, and they see the other,
Right.
increases the chances of them buying from you.
Exactly. You know, and I think when it comes to social media, then I don't know. I guess I just think that when all things are unequal, people buy from friends.
Yes.
And
Or people they know.
Or people they know.
Right.
Right. So when you're open on your social media and you're kind of letting people in or just interact, you don't have to let people in. Just interact with them.
Right.
Just be like curiously engaged with them. That's going to make people want to do business just because you talk to them.
I think another disadvantage is that it is so easy to lose money on a social media marketing campaign
Yes.
if you do it incorrectly. Right?
Yes.
And you're not tracking it. And even if you follow all the best practices, you can still make an ad that just doesn't get traction, right? Or an ad that takes a very long time to get traction.
Right.
I think, is it the purple mattresses that did the Yetis?
I remember the mattress commercial.
Yeah, it was a mattress commercial, and then
It was
like
like
the
3
Bigfoot
minutes
stuff.
long, right?
It's a super long commercial,
But it was awesome.
wildly creative.
It was an awesome commercial. I couldn't stop watching it.
But it took a while for that video to get kind of the
Traction.
viral attention that it has now, right? So, so those kind of videos you can spend a whole lot of money on making, and you don't see a return on it quickly.
Right.
And then there's a lot of businesses that a very simple ad on social media will turn into leads at $5, $10, $20 per lead, and then it's your job to turn that lead into a client. Lead forms are a great way to do that.
Yes.
And for local businesses that have a subscription service, it is absolutely a home run. For businesses like ours, Hostirian, it's way more challenging.
Yes.
B2B is a lot more challenging. It's nurturing, it's creating an ad with video views that then from that video view creates an audience, and that there's multiple layers to that, to how do you create that ad and that campaign. And for us also, we have a whole bunch of products and services.
That makes it challenging
So
too.
it makes it more challenging because it's constantly, you have to snap yourself back into focus of, oh no, I'm not promoting the business, I'm promoting this product, right? So you have 3 different kinds of ads. You've got a brand ad, you got a money now ad, and you got a money later ad. Money later ad would be something like a video where you're building an audience.
There you go.
And you're nurturing that, or a download this how-to. Money now is buy my product right now. It's the coolest thing on the planet. If you put these shoes on, then you can fly. Right?
Then you can fly.
And then there's just straight brand awareness where you're just pushing out the ads. So, But I think a lot of people, especially small business owners, have put, $100, $1,000 more. I just hit my $100,000 mark
With Facebook.
on Facebook ads a couple weeks ago, right? I got my cool Facebook rep now that talks to me and walks me through stuff. So
you viewers can't hear this, but his face lit up.
Yeah, and it's taken me some time to spend that amount of money on Facebook ads, right?
Right.
Finally there, and it does work. It can work. And I'll tell you that out of all the ads that I've created in my life through Facebook, I would say less than half of them were wildly profitable. Or profitable.
I mean,
right?
that's what happens when you come to marketing. You don't know, you have a little bit of idea, but a lot of times you don't. Things that catch on, you had no idea that was going to catch on.
Right, and then you have, shit changes. So you can have an ad that works.
yeah.
And it's crushing, right?
Yeah.
We had an ad running pre-COVID.
It was awesome.
That was amazing, and it was and it said, you should be here. It was like a Google picture, and it had an arrow, and it was the Google 3-pack or the, what do they call that besides the 3-pack?
Snack pack.
The snack pack. Anyway, if you want to be on Google, the 3-pack is where you want to be.
Yes.
And we're really good at getting you there, especially if you're a local business.
Right.
And we had this ad run that was cranking. It was doing great.
It was.
And then COVID hit and it stopped. We're like, okay, well, we'll turn this off for the 14 days that all the businesses are closed.
And then we'll turn it back on.
And then in St. Louis County, where we live, it was 3 months of closures, and then most businesses open back up at a 10% or 25% capacity. So It got really weird.
People were scared.
But then we got COVID's not over yet, but businesses are getting back into production and running and all that stuff. And we turn the same ad back on, and we're like, okay, this is great. Things are getting back to normal. Kick the same exact ad back on. 4 or 5 months later,
nothing.
Total dud. Spent thousands of dollars on the same ad that was working brilliantly. Literally just unpaused the ad. We didn't change anything. It was working great. Same audience, everything. Unpaused it, and it didn't work at all. No leads came in from it. So it's really hard to say so you got to watch it all the time.
Right.
If you have a partner that can do it for you, we can do it for you. If you're doing it yourself, develop your key performance indicators, and really, you got to watch it every day.
Yeah.
Because it can go out of scope really quickly.
Really quickly.
Another tactic I like on Facebook, just running a really low, $300 a month campaign for my Facebook page.
That's an easy win.
Right. It's a very easy win. I'm building awareness all the time.
Right.
I'm never going to get way out of scope. Right. I'm only going to spend $300 in a month. Right. And my Facebook page is always kind of growing, and I got new people in my audience all the time to pitch to.
Yes.
So
but I also think there's a huge difference between running Facebook ad spend on social media versus just posting on your social media. Two very different things.
Yes. Yeah. And we have found this year that posting on Facebook consistently, posting in general on not just Facebook, and I think we use Facebook as social media. It's the Xerox of social media. Right?
Everybody's there, man.
Yeah. Posting regularly does increase awareness.
Right.
It brings in leads. You kind of separate the business from the person at that point, especially if you have employees posting on your behalf. You want some kind of software that helps you do that.
Yes.
We're partners with a couple of different software packages that help you do that as well for compliancy. I'm not going to go to that right now because I don't know the legalities of talking about them in public and our shares in them right now, but I will talk to our partners and see if we can talk about that openly moving forward. But I think time for the next question.
Perfect.
Because I think I'm lost. Because we're still on advantages, disadvantages of social media, right?
Right. I mean, but you hit the nail on the head though, because you talked about the disadvantage of not being time, and I think that's why a lot of people don't. That's one of two reasons why I've heard a lot of people or businesses not doing social media is because they're like, man, I don't have time to do this. Right? I got to bounce my checkbook, make sure my water heater's working, my AC went out, and then something happened. Now I'm out of scope, and now I have to make sure that my permits are going to be still good, and blah 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 blah.
So if you have that problem on time, right? I have 3 different techniques that you can do.
Right
One,
on.
don't do social media. Just give up and walk away. Figure out something else with life to do. 2, pay someone else to do it. 3, zero affiliation at all with Hostirian or me, but I just bought their package
Damn good content.
2 weeks ago, and I think it's damngoodcontent.com.
Yeah.
No affiliation with them at all, but you get an annual calendar that gives you like all, just ways to
Interact with your
interact with your community, and every month for $20 a month. $20 a month, you get like all this.
The content's made.
They're memes. You should take some time and like make them more yours.
Right.
But if you don't have any time at all and you got $20 a month, damngoodcontent.com
Gets the job done.
gets the job done. It's not great. You need to put your own personality into it still.
Yes.
But it takes care of a lot of the heavy lifting.
And I would also add 4 on that. If you're going to go that route, to have some kind of software that will allow you to schedule out posting.
Oh yes, yeah,
Because doing it individually, that is time consuming.
correct.
Right, but you could just take a Saturday or a Sunday when you're at home, relaxing, cup of coffee with your family or something, and you can just
Right.
schedule out the whole month.
Yep.
Right, and that'll help you stay consistent and not really have to touch it.
Yes, every day, right?
Automation. Automation is very helpful when it comes to social media. But you got to be careful with it. You got to make sure you can't automate things that need to be more personal, because that can be bad fast.
Yes, but if you want to have a schedule where you're doing 2 posts a week, that's kind of generic meme stuff, or
That works.
Motivation Mondays, or Tech Tip Thursday,
Way
you can
Back
do
Wednesday.
that. Yeah, you can do those on a schedule.
Yes.
And then that gives you the flexibility to free up your time to when you're feeling creative and you want to put something out unique, you can. I think a lot of people right now have the problem where I've got this great idea, I want to put it out there, and because they're just not consistently putting out content, nobody's listening to them.
Right.
Right? So now they're this little boy in the woods crying by himself.
Right.
He's got this great story, but nobody's listening to him because they've never seen him before.
Right. You
Right.
haven't built up your audience.
Right.
Even if you have a lot of likes, if you don't post a lot, there's still
Well, the algorithm's not going to show you.
yeah.
Right?
Why would it?
If nobody,
You're not relevant.
If nobody interacts with you, then Facebook, Google,
You're not
Instagram,
alive.
Twitter they're going to call it shadow banning, right? In a lot of places, but it's just simply the fact that nobody likes to see your stuff,
Yeah.
or nobody has interacted with it enough to tell the algorithm that, hey,
This is relevant.
people like this.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So the key is consistency, and then having tools to help yourself out. But having a social media and not posting on it is bad. Don't do that.
Yeah, you're better to have nothing at all than something lame.
Right. Right.
Unless that's your shtick, right? Man.com, MEH.com is all selling random bad stuff, right? They use horrible descriptions to sell their things, right?
But it's funny though. That's probably why.
Yeah,
people do it.
it's the originally Woot Boys, or one of the Woot guys. I think
Gotcha.
it might be Luke from Woot. After they sold Woot to Amazon, he started this little side project called Meh, and it's hilarious to read.
There you go.
And it's different products every day. It's closer to what Woot used to be.
Actually, I think I've seen that before.
Yeah, I look at it here all the time.
I think I've
Yeah.
seen that before.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man.
Yep.
All right. Moving along. Moving along. We have Ellen. And Ellen has asked, which social media platforms are best for marketing business? Are they all equal?
Which social media platform is best for promoting business?
Yes. And are they all equal?
I believe that they are all equal if you look at them all like billboards.
Okay.
And I think it depends on what kind of business you have. If I'm selling incredible candles
Okay.
today, or unicorn candles, I'm going to sell them on TikTok because my ads are cheap there. But if I'm selling fine art, I'm selling that on Instagram, right? And if I'm selling tennis shoes, probably doing that on Facebook. Or
Actually,
StockX.
IG would be really good for that too.
Or Instagram too, yeah. Depending on what kind of shoes I'm selling, right?
Yeah.
Because I have very high picture quality.
Right.
Yeah, Instagram or Facebook for shoes, I would say. But I think it's going to depend on your business, what that is. If for us, LinkedIn is kind of the home base, right? Because we're business to business. So that's kind of where we should be. Hostirian should focus its efforts because it's business to business platform. Doesn't mean we should ignore the other ones because our users are also there. But Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, our buyers are on LinkedIn. And on the weekends, they're on TikTok and Instagram and Facebook and after hours. Yeah. So they are not all equal.
Correct.
But they can all be looked at the same way. They're all just billboards. They're all, a TV show. They're all the place that you can buy an ad and put it in front of a specific audience.
Right, and just like you
Even
said,
Snapchat, right? And we don't talk about Snapchat hardly at all.
Right.
But you can advertise on Snapchat.
I do.
I've not had a lot of success with Snapchat, but
I do like my own personal snaps, not like paying for sponsorship or anything like that.
Right.
But I think you definitely hit the nail right on the head when it comes to they're all not equal, right? Because they're different. Right? It's a completely different platform, completely different like ideology, right? Because like IG is more like videos and pictures. It's not there for like words and paragraphs,
right?
Right. But if that's what your product is, that would be that would make sense for your business.
Absolutely.
Right. So it really depends on your business and, like you said, your business, and then what industry you're in, and if you can appeal to that platform. If your product does not work on that platform, stay the hell away from it.
I think if Bob Ross was alive today, he'd be on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram.
Oh, TikTok, dude.
And TikTok.
All day.
I think that's really. I don't think he'd be on LinkedIn at all.
No.
Right?
No.
And I don't know if he'd be on Snapchat.
He'd probably be on YouTube.
Definitely YouTube.
YouTube's
Thriller.
a good one.
All right, but I don't think he'd be on LinkedIn.
Right. Probably could do some Twitter.
Da Vinci would be on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Selling military stuff.
Right. So I mean, you have to think about your product, right? Think about your industry, and think about, does it work for that platform, right? Just like you were saying about, this is a billboard, or this is a commercial. Certain commercials play at certain times for instance because the audience they're going after, they know they're going to be available. Right. When I'm watching ESPN, it's all man stuff on there. Right? So it's all like stuff about weight gain, lifting weights, new shoes, new clothes. Then I go to Lifetime where my wife is watching TV at. They're talking about cookbooks and and all these things. I'm not. So you have to know your audience.
Yes.
And that's going to determine what platform you use. Right? Know your business, know your audience, and help that guide you to where you should be and how you should be there.
Right. We were talking to a photographer today that said that her website doesn't work.
Yes.
And we did an online business review of her business, and her website scored very, very high. But her social media marketing, her directory listings, her reviews all scored very, very low in her industry. So, the social media stuff is important. They are the modern day billboard. Yeah. It's the modern day commercial. So you can ignore them and do your ads in print. I know a company right now that does fantasy football, and their primary ad is in print.
Wow.
Right. Old school. They do print and they do billboards at the sporting events.
So is that their audience though?
That's their audience, right? They have the the ads running, and when you're in the bathroom. Right? They say that it rocks, and they do Google ads, but they don't do any social media, or very, very little social media. When you think about social media, how I think about it, at least, like Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, those kinds of things. They do have them, but that's not where they spend the majority of their money. They still spend it in traditional marketing techniques, and that's at the bathroom and the sports arenas,
there you go.
Big signs and magazines.
I mean, but if that's the audience they're going after, that makes sense for them.
Yes.
Right? The problem is, it doesn't make sense for everybody.
DraftKings is killing them, so.
Destroying them because they're going after a younger audience.
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
And younger audience are absolutely about spending money online.
Yeah.
Right? So it's nothing to start up a virtual wallet or whatever the case and put money or put my card online.
Yeah.
Even though I'm still low-key a little scared of it, most people are not.
I'm very confident in the insurance that my bank and credit cards have.
I guess that little bit of the old school still kind of creeps up on me. I'm like, man, I don't want to pay for this online. I don't know this company. I haven't read any reviews yet if this company's legit or not. Like, it still makes me nervous.
Oh, and I lose a lot on taking risks like that. So,
but that's your risk tolerance, though. If your risk tolerance can take it, go for it.
Yeah.
But if it can't, be honest with yourself. I think that's probably another good part of this. You need to be honest with yourself. If you can't be honest with yourself about any of this stuff, right? About if you know your audience, you may not even know your audience, and that's okay if you don't.
Take some time
because you need to figure it out.
Yeah.
But acting like you do know them and you don't, that can be bad.
Yeah. We have an exercise that we do for finding your
product, your audience.
Your product and your audience and your customer persona and all that stuff. And it is
draining.
It drains you. It is so exhausting.
But it's rewarding when you find it, though.
It is rewarding when you find it, and it's. But you almost, if you don't get aggravated in that process, you're probably not doing it right.
Yeah.
Like if like when you're saying what your value proposition is, and you say, oh well, we got great customer service. Well, so everybody's got everybody's got decent customer service, right? Okay, all of our customer service is on shores. Like so other people have that too. Okay.
I don't know, man. Popeye's customer service, man.
I tell you, Popeye sells chicken and Chick-fil-A sells customer service.
Yes.
They sell two different products.
Right.
Hands down. Popeye's a better chicken. Their customer service is horrible. Chick-fil-A puts pickles in their sandwiches and their brine. It's horrible. But their customer service is amazing.
They make me feel so good every time I go over there, man.
Yeah.
So,
the customer service is off the chain good.
Right. So we keep saying the same thing, but it goes back to knowing your product, knowing your audience, and then owning it.
Right.
You've got to. If not...
Well, Chick-fil-A does that phenomenally, right? They are high religious. They're closed on Sundays. They've aligned themselves, I think, with the Hobby Lobby kind of folks.
There you go.
And, some people don't like that. Some people, at the end of the day, I don't care what religion you are. If you make good fried chicken,
I'm going to eat it.
I'm eating it, right? It doesn't matter to me. You be you, I'll be me, and we'll live happy lives. But, yeah, if you want to draw that line in the sand, fortunately, there's so many people in this world, you can draw any line anywhere, and you're going to be appeasing half the people.
Yeah.
You're going to piss the other half off, but you're going to make half the people on the planet happy.
As long as you own it.
Yeah.
If you go back and forth, you
cannot flounder.
Yeah.
You cannot flounder.
You'll kill yourself.
Unless you sell flounder. I guess.
Unless you sell flounder. Yes, that's true. That's true.
I think was that discriminatory towards flounders?
You're going to mess up. You're going to damage their psyche.
Yes.
All right, guys.
Yeah.
We're over the halfway mark, so we need to have our This Week in Technology.
Awesome. Well, Brian's opening that This Week in Technology History is sponsored by MyTeamFitness.com. 10-minute workouts every single morning with motivational emails in your inbox. Full body workout that you can do from the privacy of your own home. Use the coupon code Clicks and Bricks for 75% off your monthly subscription. That's Clicks and Bricks is the coupon code, and you get 75% off your monthly subscription. I think that brings it somewhere around $24 a month, somewhere in there.
Yeah, about there.
Yeah,
there. Check it out.
Absolutely.
So this week in tech history, we're going way back on this one, okay? March 10th, 1876. Mr. Bell calls Mr. Watson. Alexander Graham Bell makes a fateful call to his assistant, Mr. Watson, which is considered the first phone call in history.
Wow. 1876. 1876. So, and they're using the old Morse code telegraph system, right?
I believe so. In that time frame.
And it was. Do we know anything more about that?
That's all it has here. I got to do some more research.
It was from a firehouse, I think.
Now I got to find it now.
Can we do a little more? Was that from a firehouse?
Yes, producer guys, help me out there. Help me out there. Do you remember your very first phone call you made?
My very first phone call that I made. So I grew up in the, I was born in 75. So we had a party line at my house, which was my house and I think 6 houses around us. So when somebody called, you could pick up and just talk.
Any one of the 6 houses?
Any one of the 6 houses would pick up. So this
That's crazy.
Pre-7-digit dialing, right? We had 4-digit dialing then, kind of like extensions in offices
now.
Yeah. But yeah, the phone would ring in all 4 or 6 houses, and it was first come, first serve. Whoever picked up the phone. So it was a lot of running next door and say, hey, can you run next door and tell Chrissy the phone's for her, or stuff like that, right? It's totally bizarre. But then we could also just extension dial our neighbors.
That's so cool, man.
Yeah, and then if so you could just pick up the phone, and if somebody was there, you could just talk to them. It was just open line.
It's so crazy to think about that now, right?
Yeah, it was absolutely crazy. I was really young then. So it wasn't long before, I was probably 5 before that went away. And I remember Southwestern Bell coming to my house.
Oh my gosh, Southwestern Bell.
And installing the phone. Like, it was a big deal to have a phone installed in your house in the early 80s. And it was, wall mount. They came and wired the whole house up.
Walk through the house.
Oh my gosh. I used to, when I was probably 12 or 13 years old, I had the biggest crush on this girl named Robbie. We're still friends today. But we would literally sit on the phone all night long and we'd play Monopoly together.
Oh my god!
On the phone, and we'd both have our Monopoly board set up, and we'd roll the dice, and we'd have our own characters, and we'd just tell, like, oh, I rolled a 7, and we'd move each other's characters around.
Oh my god!
We'd sit on the phone for hours. I could never do that today, which I'd be insane.
That's like modern day gaming with like.
So that was my first online gaming experience. Was phone Monopoly. In what would that be? 82.
Oh my god!
So. Yeah.
Man, if I go back, I think my very first phone call, I remember I was very excited because I grew up in a house of 9 kids.
Yeah.
So for one, I had to fight to get to the phone. Right?
Yeah.
So like I didn't get phone privileges really that much.
Yeah.
I was third to the bottom, man. So I had to scrap for it. So I remember I called my buddies because my mom had just moved. We got remarried and moved out to a different area. And now I'm like, okay, I finally have a phone number to call. I want to call my buddy and I want to go play. And that was my phone call. I think I called my friend Sam.
Yeah.
Friend Sam. I've been friends with him since 2nd grade. Still friends to this day.
Yeah. I do not remember my first phone call.
I'm pretty sure that's my first one. I could be wrong, I'm pretty sure.
So I have a funny story for phones. So my dad, very conservative, toe the line, but always drunk. My mom, bartender, party girl, always partying. But she was, when it came to like stuff like answering the phones, she's very professional.
Oh yeah.
Right? So like when I call somebody, it's like, may I speak to? Hi, my name is Ken. May I speak to whoever I'm asking for? So I introduce myself and may I speak to. Is how I was taught to call people.
I was may I please speak with.
Yes. And my brothers are all yahoos. Right? And they used to answer the phone, Cox Nut House, which nut do you want? And it would drive my dad insane. It's like, God. Oh, damn, don't answer the phone, my dad. Can you be my boss? So
that was pre-caller ID then. Pre-caller ID.
Oh, there was no caller ID. There was no caller ID. It was like the phone rang, you picked it up. That's how you found out who was there. Yeah, so
having a caller ID was a game changer in the house, man.
It was, and now it's just common. Well, I don't even have a home phone.
Don't even have a home phone anymore.
Don't have a home phone at all.
I mean, I don't even talk to most of my friends on the phone. Most of it's text, if that, or Facebook message.
Yeah.
I mean, like, it's crazy, dude.
Yeah.
Phones have came such a long way since 1876.
Yes. So, and without that, you can go back to telegrams and Morse code and the
carrier pigeons.
All those things. Today, it's just, commonplace. My 14-year-old daughter has a cell phone. My 9-year-old son has a cell phone.
My son has a cell phone.
It's crazy.
My 7-year-old asked me for a cell phone. I'm like, why do you need a cell phone? Who are you calling, man? That you need to have a phone.
Yeah. Joe has a cell phone. It doesn't have service. He just plays games on it. And
I think that's why he wants it.
Yeah.
It's the games.
Yep.
Crazy. This week in tech history brought to you by My Team Fitness, okay? All right, keep it going. We have a couple more questions here. This one's by Oliver. And Oliver says, are there ways to see analytics for business social media pages? If not directly on those sites, what are third-party sites that will track those for you? So
okay.
2-part question.
So, yes, there's analytics. And you can get them a couple different ways. Each platform has their own set of analytics for the most part.
Yes.
I think Facebook is probably the best for that.
It shows really well, at least on your Facebook page.
Well, your business manager has really good analytics.
Yes.
I don't know about Instagram, but
It's
have
better,
your followers.
You got to convert it. If you convert your Instagram into a professional or a business account, then you get analytics. If you keep it as a personal page, you don't get that stuff.
Right. Are there software packages out there that have analytics? Absolutely, they are. The one that Hostirian has, we call Success Center. integrates with all your sales social media platforms, and then gives you analytics and key performance indicators for your.
Google. I think Google probably does a better job than Facebook.
But Google's not social media.
Is it?
You have Google My Business page. I look at Google as more of a directory listing and search engine than I do social media. Google Plus was pretty big flop. And then Google Hangouts isn't really used as like social media. It's really just more like a Skype is how I use it at least, right?
I don't use how I use it really.
I don't use it as a social media platform. I use it as a communication platform.
The Google Plus though, I think it's still like. I guess
Google Plus is still a thing, right? But they've really morphed that into it's Google My Business page now, and
mine like automatically does stuff. Like if I go on because we both have Pixel phones. If you go in your like Google your photos, it'll literally say like these people have Google accounts and here's their stuff, and you can like connect faces and connect people and feel like a social media-ish. That was the air quotes.
I think Google's playing a shadier game, long haul. I think Google is always long con.
Be careful what you say about Google.
and I think they are doing social media stuff, but they're implementing it in a way that is
it's different.
It feels natural to everybody, and it's not this. I got to go sign up here. Google's got a great way of sucking you in, giving you free stuff, and then getting you to the point where you're willing to pay for it.
Yes.
And then keeps adding new things. They also try a lot of different stuff, and then pull the cord whenever it doesn't work.
Which sucks for if you really like that.
It does suck if you really enjoyed it, but all things come to an end.
Everything has a life expectancy.
Yes.
Okay. So Oliver, I hope we answered your question there.
What was the second part of that question?
The second part of the question, if not directly on those sites, what third-party sites will track those for you?
Okay, so just in an effort to be full transparency, I think Buffer's okay. I think Hootsuite's okay. I think both those apps are okay. I think they're overpriced, and Hostirian Success Center, I think, is very reasonably priced. Yes. And I really can't tell a difference in functionality between them all.
The biggest thing I can say is that with the Success Center, you can post as much as you want.
Yeah, there's very little limitations on Hostirian Success Center. And the other thing that I really like about our Success Center is that we have, and I think Buffer and Hootsuite have this now, where you can search for topics and it gives you a lot of
that's a new feature then.
Potential content that you could post.
Besides the cost part of the Hootsuite and Buffer, my only downside with them is that depending on your package, you can only post so many times a month.
Correct.
And that's what I think is just horrible. Because, you listen to guys like Gary Vee, they're like, post 100 times a day, right?
Yeah.
That's like, you can't get their bottom package to post one time a day. You're done, dude. That's one day. So that's one of the things I really like about the Success Center with Hostirian is being that you can post 100 times a day if you really want to.
Yes.
With the basic package, you can post.
Well, not the basic package.
You can still post as many times as you want. Not with all your platforms.
Oh, okay.
Not with your platforms.
It doesn't. Right? So our basic package doesn't integrate everywhere.
Correct.
It's only selected APIs.
Correct.
Okay.
Which is the same thing with the other ones anyway. So they're about in the same spot there anyway.
Yep.
But I like being able to post out for like months at a time.
Yes.
Right, because we talked about taking time out of posting.
Right.
That is a huge benefit to be able to post for a whole month and say my social media is handled pretty much, or halfway handled.
Right. And then I go work on other stuff.
And you go work on other stuff.
So the tactic there, or the strategy there, is you take 1 or 2 days a month, you get the team together, you brainstorm, you get all your content together, you schedule it all out for the month, and then you don't think about it again for 30 days. Hopefully you get 60 days ahead. And then that leaves you time to do the creative stuff or the off-the-whim stuff that might get better traction because you're consistently posting your other stuff.
And it also gives you more time to reply.
Yes.
So now if you get engaging posts and you have your community, your customers, your potential customers now engaging back in you, now you have time to focus on that reply and make that a genuine response versus trying to automate that, because that's a bad thing. You don't want to automate a reply. You want to be honest with that, be open. All right. So let's keep it moving here. We have Shane, and Shane asked, for a company not currently using social media for their businesses, or for their business, what would the number one thing you tell them that they are missing out on?
if they're not using it today,
they're not using it today for their business, social media for their business, what is the number one thing you would tell that they're missing out on?
potential clients. Right. I think potential clients is the number one thing that they're missing out on, and number two thing that they're missing out on is that they're not giving their current clients a platform to talk to them openly or talk about them openly at.
Yeah.
Right.
What does that mean for like what does it mean for you?
So for me, sometimes I find things that we're doing that I think are good or I think are okay, and then I get feedback because a client online will talk completely open and honestly, right? Like I'll call somebody and have a conversation like, "Hey, is there anything we can be doing better, or is there anything that bad happened to you,
Yeah.
you know, in your experiences?" And they won't really tell me, but they'll tweet about it.
But they'll cyber thug you.
Right? They'll definitely tweet about it. They'll talk to their friends about it. So, and if you're not there, then you're not part of the conversation, right? You can't see what they're talking about. You know, we have a feature that, you know, if we're mentioned anywhere online, not anywhere online, but for the most part, any major platform, if we're mentioned, that we get an email in our daily reports of what they're talking about. So, and if I'm not there, then they can't tag me, right? Because I don't have a page, I don't have a handle, I don't have those things. So, giving people the ability to talk about you and about your services in a non-threatening way could give you valuable insight to your business,
Absolutely.
what you're doing, what on things you need to put your foot down on the pedal on, and things that you might need to stop.
Yes.
Right? It could go both ways with that. So, did he get that done, Ron? Did he tell you?
He's got a little problem.
Okay.
Cool.
Sorry about that, folks.
Yes, we are still at work.
Yes.
And I think for me, I probably say the one thing that people are missing out on is it's really just the exposure. You know, because you never know what a post can do. A post can go viral. Someone could see your post, and like just because their friend liked it, it'll pop up in your feed, and now you're like, oh, that's what I was looking for. Or maybe you posted something that will solve someone's problem, and now you missed out on that opportunity to be shared on someone else's wall or sent to someone else's messenger. I can't tell you how many times a day I send my wife things I've seen online.
Right.
5 or 6 times a day, easy.
Yeah.
Easy.
I think what you said, opportunity, right? Potential clients, one, opportunity is a huge one you're missing out on.
Opportunity cost is out the window,
Yeah,
man.
I mean, I'm going to use a gambler phrase here, which is probably not the best. If you don't play, you can't win.
I mean, that's true, though.
Right? So I think that's also a sports phrase. But
It's a
I
lot
know
of
gamblers
it.
say it a lot.
Well, we can take that one back to Michael Jordan said, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
Absolutely. So you just never know, right? Maybe your product is amazing and you're just afraid to get it out there. Put it out there. See what happens.
I mean, you could even have someone could ask a question, right? Because how many times do you see questions asked on Facebook?
Oh, every day.
And if you were
All of it.
there, all they would have to do is tag you.
Yeah.
So you get invited into conversations too, but you're out of that now. You don't even have that opportunity now.
Right.
So now they're going to invite who? Your competition.
I think that happens to us daily,
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
right?
I get tags all the time. And then it's crazy too because they won't even say anything. It's just a tag.
Yeah.
It's not even like any kind of context. Like
They'll just at
yeah,
Hostirian or
yeah.
at Ken or at Brian
Right.
in a conversation that you can hop in and sometimes it's bad, but most of the time it's good.
For the most part, it's good. If it's bad, I just disengage.
Yes. Do not engage in negativity
Yes.
at all unless that's your stick. If that's what you do, then go for it.
If you're
But-
Wendy's, you dive head first in there.
Yeah.
Right.
But for the most part, I recommend just stay away from everything negative, not just in social media, but your life as well, right? If you can remove negative things,
Get it gone.
that's
Fast.
a fantastic way to increase your attitude.
Facts.
Yeah.
Hard facts. All right. Do we have time for one more question? I think we do.
We got 6 minutes, so
I think we can do that.
I think we do.
Okay, so we have 2 more questions, but we'll do one more. This is with Shane. Wait, no.
You just did Shane.
I did Shane. This is our last question. Perfect.
Okay, nice.
So Mark asked, is it worth hiring someone to just run my business social media, or can I just do it myself? That could
It
be a
is
whole
worth
topic.
hiring somebody to do it if you don't want to do it yourself.
That's the key. That's the key, though. If you don't want to do it, if you have no desire to do it, you're not passionate about it, you don't like it,
Right.
that's when it's time to hire.
I think you should look at social media as a marketing platform, social media marketing,
Yes.
and whatever your company is doing to drive that ship, you should add social media to it. If you're going to outsource it, I think you need to know enough to be able to properly outsource it, right?
Correct.
There are a ton of fly-by-night kids living in their parents' basement, or guys that took big loans and they're going to go out and do this, but they have very little real-world experience of what's going on. So be prepared for the red flags if you're going to outsource it. Just like an employee, if you're going to hire somebody full-time, you're going to interview a whole bunch of people. You're making a guess. At the end of the day, you're guessing, can this person do this job based on your previous experience and everything and your people judging skills. But, you could guess wrong. And people that sell social media marketing services are really good salespeople. And they're really good at selling you on them. They're not always great at selling your product or service. So I think it's beneficial for you to know enough to manage an outsourced social media marketing team. And if you're going to take that effort, I'm happy if you want to hire Hostirian to do it. It's going to be less expensive and a more rounded product than if you hire just a person in-house.
Right.
It'd be less expensive than a full-time employee for sure.
Absolutely.
Absolutely less
Hands down.
expensive. And it'll be consistent and measurable and monitored and all those things. But if you like doing it, absolutely do it in-house.
Yep.
And if you have a very unique product or service, I would recommend trying to do it in-house over trying to outsource it. So
They won't know your product enough.
yeah, like a lot of so if you have a service that solves a problem in a local area, and you want to outsource it because anybody worth anything in the social media marketing game can knock that out of the park for you. And if they can't, then they're doing something wrong. If you solve a specific problem in a geographical area, social media marketing is going to be a home run for you.
Cakewalk.
Local gyms, local dance studios,
Chiropractors,
dentists, attorneys, all of those things. When somebody's going to be searching for you, then social media marketing is a home run. But if you have a more, we're doing an ad right now for a guy that is taking the oil from an oil mine and compressing it and getting the last 6% of the oil out of it, right?
And repurposing it.
And repurposing that. So that's a challenging ad. The benefit though is that it's a very small target that we're looking for in social media, and we're not looking to sell this $2 million piece of equipment. We're looking to raise awareness to the people that need to have awareness for it. So, it depends on what you're doing and where you're at in the field. So, outsource or keep it in-house, that's a personal decision. Both ways are good. Know enough to know how to hire and when to fire those teams.
I think that's fantastic advice. I think if you know enough about how it works, then you know even how to hire. Because you don't know what question to ask and how to really go about it if you don't know anything about it yet.
Yeah. And you might get lucky and hire the right guy.
You might.
Right?
That's a big mic, though.
But I've hired a lot of guys to help with this. A lot. And ladies. A lot of people. I've hired a lot of people to help with this struggle in my journey on figuring all this stuff out. And some of them have been phenomenal. And some of them have, for lack of a better word, just stole my money. Right? Took $1,000 and never called me again.
Right.
And never picked up the phone again when I called or any of those things. So, be careful. Don't spend more than, don't
destroy your business on your marketing.
Yeah, and if you have a quote for $5,000 for a landing page, call us first.
Yes.
Right? And if you don't want to call us, at minimum, go to 99 Designs and try that before you pay $5,000 for a landing page. I know people are doing it because I get the pitches.
Yes.
Once a week, probably, for somebody saying I'll charge you $5,000 to make a single landing page, and there's zero guarantee.
Right.
Right. And the best landing page on the planet isn't going to do shit if you're not driving traffic to it.
And that should be a whole other topic right there. Why your website's not working? Because you're not putting it to work.
Yeah, you don't send people there, right? So, it's hard, right? I mean, it's the same problem that new salespeople have. They're afraid to ask for the sale, right? So you're afraid to send people to your website. I have it sometimes too. It's weird, but I don't understand. It's a part of the human psyche that I definitely don't understand. I didn't take psychology. I took some psychology classes, but
I took a little bit.
I'm definitely not a psychology major by far.
Agreed.
I might be a 102 student.
It's just human nature,
That's
man.
101, yeah.
Human nature is human nature, which is always human.
I think that wraps us up for the day. Again, my name is Ken. My text number is 314-370-2871. This is Clicks and Bricks.
My name is Brian. You can text me at 314-216-2040. Make sure you hit the subscribe. You rate this podcast. Thank you, Twitch listeners, for joining in. Thank you, all the platforms, for listening here today. And again, if you guys want to talk about other topics or you have a question that we did not hit, make sure you text one of these lines, okay? Or just email us at clicksandbricks@hostirian.com. All right?
Get to work.
And make it count.